afternoon. This is Margaret Locklear from the Great Blacks in Wax Open Forum. And I want to welcome you all to join us as we celebrate the dedication of the Firehouse number 36 to Mr. Charles R. Thomas. Meanwhile, we're also focusing on black firefighters. And today, I have two guests here from the Maryland State Representatives of Black Firefighters. You want to tell us who you are?
My name is Paul Brown, the Maryland State Rep for the International Association of Black Professional Firefighters.
And my other guest is?
My name is Rita Francis. I'm the Southeast Region Corresponding Secretary for the International Association of Black Professional Firefighters.
Wonderful, wonderful. Now you want to tell us what you do as our representative?
What I do for the state of Maryland is act as the conduit for information from the Southeast region to the chapters throughout the state of Maryland. And we help with recruitment, retention, and promotions. Also, as you know, right now we have the problems with terrorism. So one of the concerns of the International is the Citizens Emergency Response Teams, CERT teams, making sure that they have the training so they can respond as a community to any kind of tragedy that happens in their community.
Okay, can you also tell us what the function is of the Maryland Society?
What the International Association of Professional Firefighters, following the lead of, for an example, what we're celebrating today is Brother Thomas's dedication as a firefighter, and not only to the citizens of Baltimore, but also that it enabled other blacks to become firefighters in the city of Baltimore. The International was developed to make sure that that opportunity was spread nationwide, from the East Coast to the West Coast, South and North, making sure that blacks, both men and women, have opportunities to become firefighters.
Great, thank you. And as Corresponding Secretary, you want to kind of let us in on what it is you do?
Absolutely. I'm charged with the task of keeping our regions connected with information. The Southeast region starts with the state of Maryland, goes down to the state of Florida, and over to Alabama, Mississippi, and Tennessee. So I'm charged with keeping our regions connected with each other as well as with international as a whole.
So you function pretty much as a liaison for the various agencies. Great, wonderful. Thank you very much. As you can hear, there is a party going on upstairs, and it's really hopping up there. It's a great event, and wish you could have been there.
Okay.
And I want to thank you all for coming.
Okay, well, thank you.
Thank you very much.
All righty. Hope to see you around.
Thank you.
Let's take a break. We'll be right back.
All right.
Here is the picture of Mr. Charles R. Thomas. It's his day today. Testing, testing. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Welcome back, and we have now with us Mr. James Crockett, who is the president of Baltimore Fire Commission, and Mr.
Alfred Boyd.
And you're with?
I'm retired. I'm a federal worker, but I was with the February 8th class we all came into the fire department together.
Okay, so February 8th holds some significance for even this dedication today.
February the 8th does have a significant impact on the Baltimore City Fire Department. One, no class in the history of the fire department stayed together like the class of February 8th, 1954. It has been said that we had affairs on this date for 30 years. It can go back longer than that. Out of the 21 black firemen that graduated in this class, there's never been any dissension among any of them. The deceased members of our class, we treat their spouses the same as the member in the class. If we have an affair, we invite them and we pay them homage just like we do the firefighter. The fire department has changed drastically in 52 years. When we came in, it was a matter of money. Prior to coming into the fire department, they lowered the test scores for whites to come into the fire department, and they could not get a significant number to fill the vacancies. So the insurance underwriters told Mayor Thomas D'Alessandro Jr. that if you don't fill those slots, we're going to increase the fire rates on all the properties in the city of Baltimore, including the properties that are owned by the city of Baltimore. So with that in mind, he decided to let blacks into the fire department. In conjunction with that, the NAACP and the Urban League and a number of activists, black and white, had been trying to get blacks into the fire department since 1938.
Wow.
1938 was a significant year because the first 3 black policemen came into the police department. It was Harry Scott, Milton Gardner, and Hiram Butler. Hiram Butler became a lieutenant. But in that preparation, we had a lady by the name of Viola Hill White that became a lieutenant too. And her primary object was to protect girls from these vicious men out here. And she had a very good record. All you had to do was say, that's one of Miss White's daughters, and guys would fly. So after that, we entered the fire department. The first class came in October of 1953. The second class came in December of 1953. And our class came in February 8th, 1954. Now the 41 men, the 3 classes, passed an examination, and they did not have space enough to train all of those men at one time. So they took 10 black firemen in the first class, 10 in the second, and 21 in the third class. And from then on, we made history.
Excellent, excellent. Okay, and what was it like for you?
Well, when I went into the fire department, I have been a veteran, non-commissioned officer in the United States Army, well trained. And when we got there, we brought something to the table. We wanted to certainly make an impact on our families. It was for economics because, one, we was working at various jobs around in the city where they had strikes, and that no one wanted to strike. They wanted to have something that was steady. And then, two, it was a liberation because, one, we were asked to join the fire department because of the fight that the Urban League, the NAACP, and the activists was doing in the city, and it was just timing and good timing that we. I felt very good as a young man because, one, I felt that it would be a stepping stone. It would be a stepping stone, and in a part of becoming a part of the fire department, it meant a lot to me and to my families, and actually to the community in Baltimore, because we were, one, selected, we had passed the examination. Therefore, I felt very good about the fact that we were representing our communities.
Excellent, because this was like the beginning of the beginning of the civil rights movement around that particular time. Well,
one of the things I have researched and that the the fire department in the city, and Baltimore was very progressive than any other part of the country, because all the other fire departments never had full integration. But Baltimore had full integration of its fire department, beginning before Brown versus the Board of Education.
I didn't know.
So what happened is that, you know, after you transition into a situation and then you go out and you learn more about where you were, you know, and then you're able to come back and translate what was going on. And one of the things that I found out, because I left the fire department, I was recalled into the Vietnam War. So within that, I came back and I went into other occupations. I went to the Department of Defense, I went to the Office of Economic Opportunity. I did the poverty programs in the Office of Economic Opportunity, and then into the Department of Labor.
Okay.
But my buddies, they always kept in contact with me in order to come back and always share in the moments of, you know, of when we had great moments of reunions. And like 51 years.
That's so wonderful.
It's
That's
almost
amazing.
like a diamond jubilee, you understand?
Yeah.
It's something that is greater than anything that anyone, I don't know any, you know, on the college campus, you don't stay with a person 50 some years.
Right.
They go on their own way. But we've been managed to stay together for 54 years. We know each other like brothers.
That's wonderful.
That, I mean, family. This is totally family. And when one hurt, I hurt.
Amen.
You understand? And we just feel very good and strong. But not getting off of it, when I looked at it from the standpoint of what civil rights, the impact of civil rights, looking at what conditions that black men are under, I take my hat off to these men.
I do too. Yeah.
Because they stayed the course. And, you know, it's like it's in the Bible, it says, first shall be last and last shall be first. And those stumbling blocks was removed. You understand?
Yes.
It's not as good. I mean, you don't want to see things happen like it did back then. But you want to see people do much better. And today we see, like any place else in the United States, for any black woman, black man, black youth, to look at the most educated people that pioneers like
Like you
we
guys.
set the course for, are budding from. You understand? All we ask them is to put back into the community exactly what they got out of it. See?
And I understand that the Vulcan Blazers are instrumental in doing that.
Yes, the Vulcan Blazers started while we were in fire school. On Saturdays, we went to our designated firehouses to learn how to fight fires. And when we would go back to school on Monday, then we would discuss the inequities or the things that occurred at the fire stations. And the guys decided that they should organize. And they'd leave fire school and come right to my house on Cocoa Lane, about 4 or 5 of them. And then we would discuss things, and they talked about bringing other members in. None of the members in the first 2 classes joined at the initial start of the Vulcan Blazers. And it wasn't the Vulcan Blazers initially, it was SAF, Social Association of Firefighters, because we were reluctant to use any organization that the mayor would frown on. Later on, we got enough members, and they decided to buy the building that we're in now. And I think they bought the building in 1977. They got a mortgage, they paid for it, they redecorated the building, I think 3 times, and it's a nice building. But in this building, they have classes for people that want to go into the fire department to teach them how to fill out applications and how to pass the examination. But more so than that, this organization is community organized, They bring at least 125 senior citizens into this building twice a year for a Halloween party and for a Christmas party at no cost to them. They pay for the buses to pick them up at their residence and bring them here. And some of these people don't want to leave when they come in because they have such a good time. And they do the same thing for children. So this organization has been very unique and very community-oriented, and it deserves more than what it is getting. If you want to get in touch with the Vulcan Blazers, you can call 410-664-9726. That's 664-9726.
Okay. I just want to ask you one more question about being fire commissioner. How did you get that position, and how long have you been at it?
When this class was in fire school, you heard Chief Williams say that he told him that he was going to be chief of the fire department. And Mr. Thomas would say to him, every time he'd make that comment, he would say, in a pig's ear, you're going to become chief. Well, the fire department had a man by the name of Pinckney W. Wilkinson as the secretary, and the secretary ran the fire department, and not the chief of the fire department. Firemen were more afraid of the secretary than they were anybody, because the secretary controlled your eating habits, your bill paying habits. All somebody would have to do is to call the secretary, and he'd get you on the phone and say, you take care of that bill, and it was taken care of. So I said to Herman, if you're going to be chief, I'm going to be the secretary, and I'm going to be your boss. So he passed it off, and that was a joke that we carried for years. But sure enough, Herman became chief of the fire department. When Herman became chief of the fire department, he did some unique things. One was that he invited all of the higher echelon down headquarters, and he told them that he would bring them down there and train them for 6 months in different positions so that they would know what each agency is responsible for. So he did that, and then when the other fire board, their time was up, he called me one day and said to me, Jim, how would you like to serve on the fire board? And I said, if you think I can make a contribution, Chief, I would be delighted to serve. So he said, I know you can make a contribution. And he said, get me a resume, and I'll see that it's taken. I said, what do you mean? He said, you got the job.
Oh,
I said, okay, fine. But doing that, prior to that, all of us got together. On the 8th of February, we all got together and we talked. We undergirded each other. We called them when they had death in the family, when somebody was sick. We just went to marriages. It's a unique organization. So when I went down, they had a fellow by the name of Stuart Nathan, who lived in Baltimore County, and a fellow by the name of Victor Clark, who was the Republican member of the board. So Herman said, Jim, I can't make Nathan president of the fire board because he lives in the county. And he says, I'm darn sure not going to make a Republican president of the fire board. So he said, the job is yours. And that's how I became president of the Board of Fire Commissioners.
Okay, so how long have you been at that job?
5 years.
Excellent. Well, I want to thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you.
It's men like you who make me feel proud to know that they're, you guys were there too.
And, like one of the great things I admire about these guys in our class, that they pass on, they're never selfish in terms of their giving. Easy, Crockett, Davenport, when you see them, they just named just right here, Charlie, we all are together. There's never that strange feeling, it's not a strained relationship. So I just feel like one of the greatest things that could ever happen when men can stay together 54 years.
Yeah, it's like family.
And it's family. Like anything that happened to them happens to me. And we just feel very good about it. And I'm so happy whenever that anything of any importance included. We've never, like an outcast or anything like that. Because I did leave the fire department early, and I'm not trying to take the credit for anything other than the fact that
you were one of the pioneers.
I see some great men. I have seen a transition that no one else could ever believe happen when these men have put their lifeline and style to the point that they effect this kind of change, where you see more officers. Because when we went into the fire department, we didn't have any organizations that we have now, equal on EEOC. We didn't have that. We had to rely on our integrity and our abilities to get along with the adversary, and therefore, we just had a different kind of difficult. Kids today have everything open up to them, but we certainly took advantage
Well, it's because of
of the
men like
opportunities.
It's because of men like you and Mr. Crockett and Mr. Davenport who were instrumental in making those kinds
Well,
of things
we feel
happen.
very good about it.
You
I
have
had a unique
something-
experience in the fire department. One, I was commercially trained in school, and I was called to serve in headquarters. After I got down there, I guess about 3 months, they told me that they could get a lady to do the work for less money. So they sent me back to my company. But in my experience, I had an opportunity to do some things.
One of the things that I can bring as a matured person, and what I would like to see in the fire department,
Okay, wonderful.
I would like to see our black firemen who came behind us to come in unity and understand they are the ones who paved the way for the future of our youth. First of all, let me define black fireman. I'm not a black fireman. I'm maybe a black person, but the fact is that I'm just as capable as anybody else in terms of carrying out certain responsibilities. And today, as first responders, they don't call you black or white. They call you first responders. And therefore, it is up to our group that comes behind us, ladies, the men and women, is to carry the highest esteem that they possibly can in this particular discipline. Because you are serving the public,
Exactly.
and that you're saving lives, and you're setting examples. And therefore, we can reach back and say, like, when you have integrity, nothing can destroy it. Only person can destroy integrity is you.
Exactly.
And so therefore, we'd like to reach out to our youth and to those who's coming behind those who are already there. And the ones there is to get on board to improve and to pave way so that they can reach the heights that is open for them. They have opportunities.
Excellent. Thank you.
When you
And
see,
you want, go ahead. No.
when you see the President of the United States get off his helicopter, sometimes you'll see a fire engine there. That fire engine is there because members of this class got together, we wrote a report to have a hose wagon that sprays foam for the President, because Milton Eisenhower was coming here to see his brother over at Hopkins. His brother was president of Hopkins University. So we organized that. So every time the president's helicopter lands, in the background you'll see a fire vehicle there. We wrote the book of rules and regulations that govern the fire department. Charlie had a unique experience in that many of the white firefighters were having a problem down in Cherry Hill. They called the people down there jungle bunnies. The kids threw stones, bottles, sticks at them. Charlie was assigned to go down there and to cool the people down. and he did a tremendous job. The fire department is open to men and women that want to come into the fire department. We have regular classes here. We will come out to your church. If you have a significant number of people, we'll conduct classes in your church or any community. All you have to do is call the number 410-664-9726 and ask for the application to join the fire department, and they'll take care of you.
Wonderful, thank you.
And another that I'd like to add too is that one of the greatest things that's happened in this fire department, and many people, they go unsung, but the medic department, the medic group that is also of the fire department, they save a lot of lives.
Hey, I want to thank you for joining us, and thank you for inviting us to be a part of this event. And I want to thank you too. And I want to thank you for joining us. And if you'd like to be a part of the Great Blacks in Wax Open Forum, you're welcome to come, 1601 East North Avenue, and you can call the number at the bottom of the screen to tell you the times for tours. And you can also visit our gift shop, where we have plenty of wonderful gifts and souvenirs from all over the world and all over the country that you may want to share with your friends. And again, thank you. Bye.
Thank you.